Hello, everyone. We are back with a brand new episode of the Skin Wellness Pro Show. I'm Rachel Pontillo, your host, your co-host, I should say, and I'm here with my co-host, Tara Swagger. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
And today we have a special guest, Lora Condon, who I'm going to tell you about in a little while. But before we do that, just a reminder, the Skin Wellness Pro Show is the official podcast of the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance at skinwellnesspro.com, which is also the home of the professionally accredited certification program for estheticians, health coaches, nutritionists, nurses, anybody who is working to support skin specific client issues and want to do so in an integrative fashion. You can find out more about our certified nutritional aesthetics practitioner training program on our website. So, without further ado, I'm going to just read you the bio of our guest today, Lora, and then we're going to get the conversation started. So, Lora is known on social media and in the industry as the Beauty Buster. She's been an esthetician since 1998, and she has been well featured in the media on Dr. Oz, Entertainment Tonight, in Cosmo, and the New York Times. She's also an Amazon best-selling author. InStyle magazine also has ranked her as one of the best brow shapers in the country. Girl, don't even look at my brows right now. I have to get them done. And she has lashed celebrities such as Kate Blanchett, Taya Leone, as well as the Good Morning America hosts. The Olive Garden, Burger King, The View, Fox, CNN, and Oprah magazine has also featured her work. Lora's creative writing and unique marketing ideas have helped companies make millions of dollars, and she was even voted Dermoscope magazine's favorite contributing writer for her video column and articles. Lora, we are so happy to have you on the Skin Wellness Pro Show. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so nice meeting you at NESM Pro, which is what I love
Absolutely.
about NESM Pro. You actually get to like meet and talk and interact with people at a really unique level that you don't at a trade show, regular
Yeah,
trade show.
we love it. We love NAS Pro. We love the conversations that are had there and the variety that Denise
Mhm.
brings to that platform. We've found just great value in being there. So we're going to continue to go and participate with their programs as well. So, Laura, you have had some life-changing things happen with your health that I know we're going to talk a lot about today. And I just want to give the floor over to you. Tell us your story. Tell us kind of where you were before this happened, and tell us what happened and how that has shifted what's really important for you.
Yeah, the shift. Let's talk. Massive radical action is what I talk about. So I got my license in 1998. I was doing drug counseling before that. I was working on my CAC back in the time, and then that whole industry changed to having to get your MSW, which tells you nothing really about drug and alcohol counseling, and that was really my passion at the time. So I was like, well, I can't afford to go for another couple more years of school to get my master's. I was working on this different certification, and so then I just started got a job at a Capri Institute to be the admissions director. And so one day they needed a model for the facials, and I was like, well, I guess I should know what I'm selling. I have no idea what I'm doing here, right? As the director. And I went and I'm like, oh, this is me, like in 3 seconds. Like I walked into the room, there it was, dark and candles, and I was like, this is for me. And like that was it. I just always knew I loved healing and essential oils and herbs and all these. I knew that the answers to a lot of my questions that I had in my head at that time, and this is I was almost 30 at this point, were linked to what I call God's medicine and nature. And not that I was like, anyone would say, oh, she's a tree hugger kind of girl. But like internally, I totally am that girl. So then I went to cosmetology school. No, cosmetology school. I was like one of the first esthetician classes. Everybody thought, I was putting people to sleep, which I am, but in a different way. I'm not an anesthesiologist. I'm an esthetician. This was like 30 years ago. People didn't know. And then I lived right outside New York City, and so I had great access to going into Manhattan and competing with the best of the best, essentially. Because if you're not, you just get wiped away. That's why they say, oh, what, why are so many people from New York? Because that's where the best of the best are going many times for certain industries. And in the skincare, it's New York and California.
Mm-hmm.
Beverly Hills, because they're ahead of New York actually. In many ways, things go there first, and then they come to New York. And so I just took full advantage of it. Like, I was very aggressive. I'm not the best esthetician. I can get all the awards. I just won another award for the best esthetician in the town that I live here in
Yay.
Inglewood. Okay, voted
Congratulations.
on by people. Thank you. I'm not the best esthetician. I might be the hardest working esthetician. And so I am one that has always taken massive radical action to get what I want. And that is hasn't changed, but what I want now has changed. So what I wanted then, and I'd say up until 2020, was fame, fortune, PR, give me a magazine, get me any editor, I will be in that magazine. I did the huge things with Cosmo and InStyle magazine and Refinery 29 and Ladies Home Journal. So I've had great success in that sense, and it's fun and I love it. And you get to meet people you'd never meet and just hang out with them and go to their house and do their lashes and the yeah, it's exciting life. You're living like, vicariously through these celebrities and stuff. And then COVID came, and then I was just like, I just moved to Florida. I was like, I don't care. I just got a job anywhere. And I was like, I don't really care anymore. But I didn't realize how much my identity was wrapped up in being celebrity esthetician.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I just kind of started to decline my self-worth, my self-value. And it's like, well, if I'm not that person, then who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And I have one part of my identity, which is who I am with my family and friends, but that doesn't pay the bills. And then I have the other part of my identity that pays the bills and rocking and rolling, and I'm putting on events in Manhattan with 300-400 people come in and waiting line out the door. And so it just kind of started to go down and down, and then I had some ups and downs and ups and downs. And then the last year, 2024, was really bad for me. Like, I just totally, like, God, what do you want me to do? Just tell me what to do, I'll do it. Like, I don't even care what it is anymore. If you want me to muck stalls, I will go to the farm and muck stalls. I don't care. Like, I don't know who I am. You know what I mean? I'm doing facials, whatever, but like, it not at any level. It's with 70-year-old ladies, you know what I mean, that aren't really into taking care of their skin. They've been using Ivory soap their whole life. They're just coming for fun, right? So, like, that's a lot of what's around here. I mean, I love them. They're great, but it's not exciting. It's not cutting edge, which is what I was just like used to. And then, so I was really angry and angry for a lot of different reasons. And then in January, I was diagnosed with a very large, severe, inoperable tumor in my liver. And so that will pretty much make you stop everything. If anyone's had cancer, every single worry you ever had before is completely gone. So, like, that's kind of a gift in a way. Like, nothing else matters now. I think about nothing else but just being present in the moment and getting well. So
Wow.
that's where I am at right now. And they told me I had 10% chance of living. And like I say, so I'm 90% dead. So this is what it looks like. And that, 3 to 6 months to live. And now I'm in my now. And so this is what it looks like. It's different for everyone. And so when I got the news at first, I never thought I'd be the type of girl to do chemo, radiation, maybe surgery. Okay, you could take it out, but I was inoperable, so that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even an option. But you never know what you're going to do when you're really in there, and they're like pushing you, hounding you, hounding you to go, feet first into the meat grinder. And I was just like, 10% chance. I don't want to spend my last months being sick, being ill, being, traveling all over different hospitals, and I just don't want that life. I just rather be dead. Like, I'd rather be dead at that point. And my husband was like, do whatever you want. And and I asked God for, like, tell me what to do. Please tell me what to do. And I don't know what to do. I don't want to make the wrong decision. And not that there's a right or a wrong decision. I feel like everybody has to do what's right for them. Like, when people ask, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. Do what your gut tells you to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
truly, truly follow your gut for you. Chemo's right for some people. Surgery's right for other. 10 years of radiation and chemo might be right for someone else. Like, that's not for me. And I just said, you know what? And they kept trying to put the port in me before I left the hospital. Like, do you want the port? Let's put the port in you. Let's put, no, you got to go. You got to get the port. You got to get the port. Like, there, I was like, oh my God. And every single message I received, every single email I received, every single message and email and phone call that my husband and I received, every single person, whether and every one of those people that had cancer as well, said, don't do chemo and radiation. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't tell people don't do it. I say follow your gut. But everybody wants to give you your opinion. Their
Of
opinion.
course.
If you have a baby, if you've gotten married, everybody wants to give you their opinion. And this is just one more thing. And I was like, okay, God, like, that was it. I told them, I'm dumb. Hit me on the head. Like, tell me really what to do. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go the natural route. And I have just as much a chance. Chemo, in case radiation, in case you haven't looked, doesn't have good um, numbers. They die as much as they live. Most people die from the chemo, or they die from, the doctors making mistakes, which they made a lot. They made mistakes with me. I've
Mm.
had to tell, hey, you might want to take a look at my file that I have had my family printed out. So we have records of it, of all these lies that were never asked of me,
Oh,
all these
wow.
questions. Like, so you have to be your own advocate. Now I have to be an oncologist now. Like, really? Like, I had no idea that was in my future. So I just knew what I was going to do. I had a friend that had recently healed herself with triple negative breast cancer, doing all natural stuff. And she's like, not that she's my one, natural person who's healed, but I just started diving deep really into it. And I'm like, oh, like, they're having great results, and people are healthy, and they don't have any negative side effects. Part of chemo and radiation in the traditional way is many people are going to have extremely life devastating or life altering side effects,
Mhm.
which, for me, with my attitude, I'm like, I'd rather be dead. And I don't have the money to spend thousands of dollars every month on medications that you might have to take for the rest of your life. I don't, what I mean? Like, I just don't want to live that way. Like, I just want to be free. That's me. I'm rebellious. I want to be free. I don't want anybody telling me what to do. And so, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm feeling good. Um, you know, I have 2 stents in my bile ducts keeping me alive. And so now every 2 or 3 months, I go and I get those changed and
Okay.
keep an eye on the tumor. So
Well,
July will be my next checkup. So
well,
that's that little part.
that's just the little story there. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I just want to reflect how I just admire so much that you really stayed true to yourself and what you wanted for your life. And I love how supportive your husband is, and that you're sticking to your guns, because I think that what you said about having to be your own advocate rings true for women, especially, but for all people. And yes, we need doctors. Yes, we need conventional medicine, but does it have the answer for everything for every person? No. And we do have other options. And there still is a disconnect between what those options are and what the conventional providers are telling you. So I just admire so much that you're choosing how you want to spend your time and
Yeah.
how you want to feel during that time.
Every Jersey girl's national like anthem song is "My Way" from Frank Sinatra.
Yep.
Like,
Jersey
doesn't we
girl
all?
up here too.
That's it. I mean, we all have it at our funeral. Well, but being an esthetician, I learned. I mean, it was my interest, but I also really learned so much about holistically, and I use it with the
Mhm.
WHOL. We are a whole unit, and when people come to me with their skin problems, I am not taking a battering ram to your acne. I'm asking you about what you eat
Mhm.
and your stress levels. And that's where I'm starting. And so I look at cancer the same way. Well, my body made it, I didn't catch it from anybody. So, what can I do to unmake it? So, what I'm doing physically is making my body a place that cancer is like, ew, I don't like it there. Let's leave. Let's get out of here. And that's what I'm trying to do. Will it work with 10% chance? I don't know. People with less than me have survived and thrived. So that's what I'm hoping for. And so we all know as practitioners, we've helped people that dermatologists couldn't help or wouldn't help or can't help because all they can do is just give them some kind of cream or Accutane or something like that. So I know that I've helped people that were the unhelpable. Those were my favorite. Whatever it is, the unhelpable, those were my people. And now I'm the unhelpable because really I've met with my oncologist and they all say, well, if you don't do chemo, I can't help you.
Mm.
I was like, ooh, aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed to say that? Like the last oncologist I met with, he's like, I asked, well, I said, well, what about this thing that I did in my record? He's like, well, I didn't pull up your record. I'd have to call it up. I never looked at your record. I'm like, I just paid you $300.
Oh my goodness.
All you know is my diagnosis, but how can you give me, how did you just give me a chemo recommendation? How do you know what kind of chemo? You don't even know who I am, right? And one had the wrong patient, she had the wrong name, she had the wrong diagnosis and the wrong treatment.
Oh my
That
goodness.
was in the hospital. So like when I'm saying you have to be your own advocate. So I just know that we all have to come to a place where we look at the body as a whole unit. And if you're not, then you're not really treating the body and you're not really putting it in balance. And that's the
That's
only
really
way.
great to hear. It's really great to hear your story, Laura, because as I'm listening to you, and it's like there's so many people with this very similar experience when they're diagnosed with something like this, experiencing how that looks when they go and seek the medical attention, and then not feeling like that. I mean, as a practitioner, I work with clients in skin health as an esthetician, but also as a holistic health practitioner. And every person that comes in, like you were saying, like they come when they're unhelpable, they're so sad and defeated
Mhm.
by that process, right? And um I'm so glad that you said this in it out loud for us to be able to share, because you're not the only one, right? And I think it's really important to know that you're not the only one, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people feel like they're not being helped, but they feel like somehow it's singular to them, and it's definitely not, right?
There's
And
something
then
wrong with
the
me.
beauty,
They all say it.
yeah, and then the really other important piece is that there are other things that you can choose. And that's the second part of what you just shared that I don't believe that people understand. And I think the second part you can choose, unfortunately, is a little bit harder because you're not being directed necessarily by one person. And there's lots of things to research and learn on your own about building a healthy terrain that can potentially create an environment, just like you said, where the cancer decides that, okay, I can't live here. This isn't going to give me, I don't have my food source. I don't have the things feeding me here. And I think people need to know that, so that just like you said, you can choose for yourself. And one of the biggest things I know in this industry and working with clients that are struggling with different things, and some of it I've had clients with cancer I've worked with, and some of it is cystic acne, and some of it is hormonal acne or psoriasis or any of the things that are coming from inside the body that we want to get to the bottom of. And they're desperate because no one has really paid attention to them or really helped them. And so it's such a good thing to present to other practitioners. Like a lot of our listeners are professionals in the industry, and so that they can hear how important it is to be able to talk to clients and maybe offer them, like this is what our program does, right? We want to offer them an educated, certified professional that can give them some information, right? So like when I work with clients, I'm not here to solve their cancer issue, right? But when they're in my treatment room and they're desperate and they're talking about, I talk to them about resources and opportunities and options, and then they can drive their own car in what their gut is telling them or what aligns with them. And so many people don't even realize that they can take control. And the beautiful piece to hear you talk about is that you're choosing what you want, and that's it. And there must be, I would imagine there's so much peace in that, because I know when I think about, from my perspective, the way that I have lived my life is that I mean it would be some kind of massive something or other that would get me to choose the conventional route as well with what you're talking about. And I truly do feel like I would be way more comfortable and in my own skin moving in whatever direction God or nature wanted to take me, by also just using holistic health practices for myself. I would not thrive in a medical situation. And
Mm-mm.
so I
Yeah.
totally relate to what you're saying, but I also would never want to tell someone else what they were comfortable with. But and do you feel like you're living in a peaceful trajectory with the idea that you've made your own decisions and where you sit with that?
Well, I want to say, go back to one thing. I'm not totally throwing away Western medicine. I am alive now because a doctor went down my throat and put two tubes in my bile ducts so my bile can flow through because I was turning yellow to keep me alive. So I'm not like stupid. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I also know mustard gas probably isn't the answer to healing, right? So so like just I just want to say that I'm not like throwing out doctors. I appreciate them, and I wish there was more excellent doctors, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm following doctors that I consider to be excellent at the next level for what I need them there for, that. And then this doctor he's excellent. He's the head of stents. Thank God for both of them. My peace comes from God. So no matter what happens, I don't care. Like literally, I live in Florida. Like literally, part of our roof came off. Our lanai came off. My Jeep is gone. Like I have peace, right? Because and this part goes to identity. Like when I lost my identity as celebrity esthetician, my world was kind of shaken in that sense, but my identity as who I am with my family and friends is child of God. I am fearfully, wonderfully made. I am perfect. I am made in his image. So I had to make that part bigger and this part smaller, and remember that this part is totally insignificant. It's the child of God, because this is who people really want. People pay for this one. And,
Hmm.
and then this is what kind of one of the things that I learned, to really be more about the interaction, not the transaction. And I was like, from 2016 on, I was kind of burnt out with the industry, and just like, ugh, like I just don't want to live this life anymore. Be careful what you wish for. And so I became so much more about the transaction instead of the interaction. And now I'm really all about the interaction, going back to where I was in the beginning. I was about the interaction in the beginning. And then as it grew, they kind of commingled, and, then it went one way. And I really, really want to heal the people that I'm working with, and the people that are attracted to me and stay with me are the people who want to do the work to heal themselves in all aspects. And they might be coming for a facial, but really they're coming to learn to love themselves. And that part hasn't healed yet, and they're 70 and they still think they're ugly and fat.
Mm.
and they've got a turkey neck and they're still not over it. And like, and I'm like, so my job is to build them up and make them see how beautiful they are and look at all the people that love you and depend on you. And so the interaction is really where it's at. And that's what's going to make you stand out. So, there's all these celebrity estheticians, all these influencers. You will never see me twerk. You know what I mean? I don't.
Me
Thank you,
neither, by
Jesus.
the way.
We've joked about that on this podcast before. You will not see me twerking on TikTok. Ain't gonna
Yeah.
happen.
And nor do we need to.
Right.
That's like, ew, you think so little of yourself and your self-worth that you feel you need to go down to that level in order to be heard.
And like if
I'm
that's your
going
brand and
up.
those are your customers, fine. But I'm 48 years old. My customers are not, that's not my customer. So it would not
Even
make
if you're
sense for me to try to do that.
yeah, I mean, no one wants to see it at this point, and if you are, well, then I could probably make a lot of money on what do you call OnlyFans, with my feet or something. I don't know. I should have taken that route. But I mean, but it's like, what are you really selling at that
Mhm.
point? You know what I mean? You're just selling the next brand that's paying you
Yeah.
to twerk. That's all you're selling. And I've never been that type. My brand, the Beauty Buster, has been around for a long time. And because that's who I was. And that's why Dr. Oz had me on. He's
Mhm.
like, we're looking for someone who will tell the truth. So I was on there with the beauty brains because they pretty much tell the truth. Like
Mhm.
they are not, he's pretty legit. And there at that time, and even now, there's still not a lot of us out there who are willing to say you don't need an eye cream. It's totally dumb. Like, right? No, you don't need a neck cream. Put that shit on your ass. Maybe it'll do a little bit better. Like, you don't need that. It's the same ingredients. Like, hello. And so turn it over. And people will say, I say, bring me your stuff. Read me the ingredients. What's the first ingredient? Water.
Water.
Okay. So why are they telling you that it's peptides?
Mhm.
Like, did you ever? And oh, I never turned it over. Oh well, maybe you wanna, So like, just give me that. Like, and I tell people, and just very Jersey. Please give me the $300, and I'll give you something that will like really wow you. You're spending $300 on that cream, and I just say like, have some self respect. Come on, you know what I mean?
It's really interesting. And, in the kind of cosmetic formulation world and cosmetic world, when we have that idea that, oh, this is a peptide product. And then you look at it and it's like water's the first ingredient, but the peptides are what's being marketed. That's called angel dusting or fairy dusting. There was recently a new celebrity brand launched on Instagram from someone who's been in the media for a very long time. I'm not going to call anyone out because I don't need any hate mail, but this is a brand that a lot of people are going to buy because this celebrity has been long associated with beauty and is also apparently one who is aging without surgery or cosmetic procedures, but relying on spa treatments alone and skincare. Sure. Well, who knows if
I
that's true,
don't
but
believe
that's what's being
celebrities. I don't believe that.
yeah, that's what's being marketed. So, I click over, I'm just like, let's just see what's in this. And part of the marketing said this product has, peptides and 4% niacinamide, as if it's a new thing, which, come on. But as a formulator, I know that 4% is the maximum amount of niacinamide that you can usually add. And that version at that percent is also not always stable. So the first ingredient is water. And then there's probably like cetyl alcohol or some kind of emulsifier after that. And then the niacinamide is like third. So I'm like, okay, well, it's in the top five. But then I'm like, I know there's only 4%. And then there's like 20 other ingredients after that, including the peptides. So you're telling me that all of these other ingredients, these essential oils, these extracts, these actives, you're selling the product with those buzzwords, but as a formulator, I know that every product has 100% ingredients. A formulation equals 100%. The third ingredient has only 4%. Everything after that has less than 4% and it equals 100. So there's probably over 90% water in that product, which is
Yeah,
like,
mind blowing. And it's this is this is why the beauty buster. It literally came when someone was ripping out a hair extension from my head, and it's a beauty buster. And it was like that's what it was. I couldn't think of the word. And but yeah. And when I think about it, um, the hope in a jar. And
Hmm.
I used to tell this to women. I'm like, do you know why they called it hope in a jar? And they're like, why? Because they know you're so stupid.
Oh,
And they'd be like, oh, yeah. Unfortunately, they believe that you are so stupid that you will never turn that jar over and look over. And they're charging you, however, it was like 100 and something, whatever, hope in a jar. And they know it's BS and they know you'll buy it.
yeah.
And like, because it makes me angry because it's lying, and lying is the thing that tweaks me. I don't care. You could hate my guts. You can call me every name in the book, but when you lie to me, then it's on.
Yeah.
And then when you're lying to me because I'm a woman, and how hard I have to work to make that money at 70 cents on the dollar, right? So I
Absolutely.
am now livid. And that's it's a bunch of men sitting in a room and women with their mouths shut saying, let's call it hope in a jar and let's charge $150 and let's just make it Vaseline. And that's pretty much all it is mineral oil.
Yeah.
And people, I wish more people like you that are formulators would be loud and proud and have lots of classes and lots of information of what you just said right now. Because the only person my going through the industry was Paula Begon.
Hmm.
Remember cosmetics cop, like taking to cosmetics camp. She was the only one
Hmm.
at the time that would say, no, this is water, turn it over, look, or you have to have a certain percentage, a certain pH.
Yeah.
They didn't teach us that in school because
Well, I
none of
mean,
my
it's a completely different modality. Like that's cosmetic chemistry there. That's formulation there. They don't have time to teach that. I mean, in Pennsylvania, where I am, we have 300 hours. They're not going to teach that, right?
So yeah, so I would love like this is my call to all the cosmetic formulators to really put out honest information about things like this. Take a product and just say this is the product. You don't even say what it is. Just put the ingredient list up there. Let's talk about it
Yeah,
because
we believe in
us humans
transparency.
need this knowledge. Because how do we get the knowledge to pass on?
Yeah.
So and that's part of that also like our commitment to being authentic, which is really a big deal about whether being authentic with myself, my family, my clients, and then within the industry, who we are in the industry.
Hmm.
And your authenticity is what people is going to like about you. If I'm all, you know, hi me he like this, and then I come in and like, oh, you know why? It's because they think you're dumb. That's why they sold you that cream. And they'd be like, oh my god, I'm not going to her ever again. But if they're like, yeah, that's the girl I want, she's going to tell me what works, what doesn't. She's not going to lie to me. And I can even tell you how many times people have come to me and said, thank god you did not sell me that cream. I've had people, I said, I am not doing your facial the month before your wedding, I'm sorry, because I'm guarantee you're going to have a pimple the day you break out on your wedding and you're going to blame me. And I know it's not me, it's stress. And it's because you've been drinking more, because you've been
Yeah.
partying more and eating out all the time and like all of that. And I've had brides come back after and be like, you were so right. I'm ready now. Let's do it. And honesty, I just find is always the best way.
I love
Absolutely.
that, Laura. I actually think that that is exactly how my business was built, on honesty. And your eye cream comment cracks me up because I'll have people come in and say, what kind of eye cream do you have? I really need a good eye cream. And I do carry an eye cream, but I very rarely sell it because I'll say, well, what's the problem with your eyes? Like, what are you trying to achieve? And generally, what they're looking for is answers to why they have puffy eyes and why
Hmm.
they have dark circles. And I'm like, don't buy an eye cream. Like, if you want to put some moisture under there and squeeze it out of an eye cream tube, fine, right? Like, okay. And that's up to you. But I don't sell an eye cream because for the same exact reason, there's something happening in the body, or there's something like you just explained about a wedding, like stress and eating things that you shouldn't, and all of those things. And it is unfortunate because we are in an industry that wants to drive you to sell something. I mean, the beauty industry is incredible in terms of how much money is going on to products, like you just said, and also to these ideas of influencers just selling a lot of things. And it's so unfortunate because it's like you look around, you're like, I'm like, people, this is all being made at the same company with different jars, with different marketing packaging on there, and you're paying this much. But it's probably pretty matched up to something at CVS or your local pharmacy that has the same ingredients for $10. And it's very unfortunate because when you're an authentic voice in your industry, people are very driven by buying the product, right? They're driven by saying, what's the best eye cream? What's the best? And I'm like, I always say those are transient clients because if they're not interested in the conversation about the health and wellness of their body, especially like when you think about the acne clients, right? They're constantly chasing the best product, the best opportunity. But really, it lies in your lifestyle. It lies in authentic skincare products or authentic things that can be taught to them to learn and understand. And Rachel's probably the same way. Like we have the same exact way of delivering that message to our clients and same thing. And I'm like, if that the way that I'm talking to you and the way that I'm saying you can't, I'm not allowing you to buy an eye cream because I think maybe you have some adrenal or kidney stuff going on or you need to be hydrated. um, Either they come back and they're like, oh, thank you, because typically I have 14 eye creams that I've been chasing around and I didn't know that they weren't going to handle any of those things, right? And so there is, and I think, as the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance, our program, we want to build authentic practitioners that can
Hmm.
do have those conversations with people. And I feel like we maybe we're small, but can we be mighty, right? All together in
Hmm.
this message.
And we're not
And
going to be small forever, guys.
yeah, and
We're
so
growing.
but
Keep
yeah,
twerking it, twerk it out, twerk it out.
mighty, yeah, but mighty because Laura, like your story and your the way that you've grown, and even the part where you were talking about feeling like, who am I? Because you tied up an identity. I think that's I really love that you shared that because I feel like I've been through sort of that emotional turmoil as well. Feeling like, before COVID, things were so different before COVID, and like so many things have changed since, and almost having to like re-identify what I'm projecting and what I'm giving back to the world. Your part about the interaction and the transaction definitely was a shift that I saw as well. And so now that I'm hearing you say that, like you put words to it and I can identify that I actually did the same thing. I wonder how many other women and estheticians or beauty professionals have gone through that. And maybe they're going to hear this message and not quite feel so weird. But I love that because it's so true. And as you're growing and you're learning, you change. And as the world around you shifts and change, diagnoses can change you. And then the other part I really loved that you shared was, and I think this is very, very underestimated, is your faith. Because I think that while not everyone shares the same faith, and that's okay, I think that I see a lot of women in my practice feeling helpless, and maybe they're going through shifts and changes but they can't identify it or they feel alone. And maybe practitioners are feeling like this too, and I think they struggle to lean in to a belief system that can help support their heart and their spiritual growth. And I really appreciate that you shared that because I think that the energetic value of people has been missing that for a very long time. And I think it's a really powerful thing that you shared. And I love that because I personally, the more I've leaned into my own faith and my spiritual growth, I've felt the same way, like felt more empowered and more stable and more grounded. And maybe that's something people haven't recognized. So I really thank you for sharing all of those pieces because in a very short period of time, you shared a lot of really profound things that I think are beneficial to practitioners and clients and people in between. So yeah, I really like that part of those parts of the message.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my faith is everything. I wouldn't have anything without it. I'd be a raging, mean, nasty, vindictive person without it, and that's just the truth. I'd be like mafia 1 second and be like, "You cut me off, really? Yeah, you deserve to die." And like, I wouldn't. And then I just go have a bowl of ravioli. Like, I wouldn't think twice about it. Honestly, swear, it wouldn't bother me in the least. I'd be like, "Well, you cut me off. What do you? You're stupid. You shouldn't even be on the road." So like, it really has it's conformed me. I'm conformed to the image that I want to be more like. And thank God he got me when I was a lot younger. It's been a long road. I mean, and it's not like a straight road to sanctification. You know, I have my faults like everyone else, but because the truth, it doesn't change, you can stand on it. If
Mm.
you're looking for this, well, maybe this guru, and maybe that guru, and maybe this thing, and maybe this sound, and all these different things that people are trying to grasp on for the truth, and it's truth's not necessarily fully there. That has truths, but then you're like you're always like on that 1 foot, on a pole, like a pogo stick, and trying to like go. And so, yeah, that's definitely kept me peaceful. When you had asked about have I had peace through all of this, I cry like a mad lady every day, but at the same time, in a certain weird way, I also have peace. Like, I either more time in heaven or more time with my husband. It's a win-win for me. I feel bad for my parents, and my husband and my sister, but we all have the same mindset, so that really helps to make things better. And like, we talk about massive radical action in our business and in my life. So now you see me, I'm juicing. This is only two of the like 12 juices I drink now. I'm not really eating any food for the most part, only the juice during the day and supplements, ivermectin, mebendazole, going that route. And at 10%, it's a hard road to come back, but people do it. I may or may not, but I'm happy, I'm healthy. I mean, like, I had my blood work comes back perfect.
Mm.
I,
It's
I
there.
just want to make another comment too, is that I actually have a relative who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I think now we're going on 4 years. And he took a similar route, right? I don't, doing different things. And I have to say, and I think this is maybe good for people to hear too, like, and I think that that natural route can look different in a million ways, right?
There's
You
a lot
know
of
that.
different ways. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, as long as you're honoring your body, that's most important.
And so he, through his journey, you know, I have to say he looks healthier than I've ever seen him in his life. And I think he also feels really, really good. And I
So
think that
great.
there's something to be said about that, right? Like you said, you don't want to be like in hospitals and doing all those things that just didn't fit the picture of what you wanted. And so I think that's great because then you found some other things to do. And there's so much information, so much data and research out there that's outside of medical because they don't necessarily integrate that in the way that you might be working with a doctor. And so when you unravel some of that, you can find what speaks to you. But you look fantastic. You sound fantastic. You seem to have a lot of energy, and that's really amazing. And I think people don't correlate people who have cancer diagnoses as looking like that, right? Like when you think of somebody with a cancer diagnosis, it seems very, very sad and morbid and like
People don't believe me when I tell them.
yeah.
They don't believe it. Like,
And
my husband, I said his treatment would be bourbon and beef, and he would be like, that's it. Like, he's a Viking. Like, he'd be good. That's what I'm saying. You have to listen to your gut and
Mhm.
yeah,
what you feel is right for you to do. And I don't know what's going to happen. We don't live forever. We're just all dying at different speeds,
right,
really.
Mhm.
right, right.
And so I'm just taking it for all I can until my last breath, whenever that is.
Yeah.
And that's the way we should all be living. And that's really what I, want to tell people is take that massive radical action and make what you want to happen happen. And it's not about sitting manifesting and, oh, I'm going to manifest and think about it. No, do it. Like, think about it. Yeah, think about it. Have those vision boards, but also do it. Do the
Yeah.
action that it takes to get that massive radical result.
I think a lot of people don't realize that when we're talking about things like manifestation and the law of attraction and the secret and any of that, which I've studied pretty
Yeah,
intensely, I have a master's degree in it. Like that's totally my jam. But none of that works with thoughts alone. You have to take actions to be on the path of actually implementing what you're trying to manifest.
yeah. So no, I make a vision board every year, and it's really funny. This year, I had such a hard time. Usually, I've got a jam packed. This year, I have maybe 14 things on there. And one of them was like the opera in Italy. So I went to the opera, and the other things were just like religious things. And it was about
Mhm.
getting closer to God. And I'm like, I don't know why I can't do anything this year. I don't know what's going on. And I was just like, I'm telling you, like the year before, I was just out there floating around. Like, I don't know what God wants for me. It's making no sense whatsoever. And well, now I kind of see, now I've gotten a little bit further and I see more. I still don't see the end yet. I'm still like in that limbo stage. Um, and he's just only revealing it to me as I am ready to understand it and move forward with what he wants me to do with that next section.
Mhm.
And sometimes that's all we get in life. So you have to be taking action. So I'm taking action and hoping that whatever I'm doing is what he's telling me to do. And he makes it right, you
So,
know?
Laura, a question. Your life in the beauty industry, what message do you think would be what kind of message can you share to other beauty professionals in the industry that might help direct them from away from the inauthentic beauty industry into something that really truly can resonate beauty, health, and wellness in light of like how difficult our beauty industry is in terms of what it's built up to be like as a conglomerate from your perspective, especially now where you're shifting the way that you view everything from that holistic perspective with your diagnosis. What message would you like our practitioners, future practitioners and clients to hear about what is really available outside of the paradigm that we've all kind of been saturated in?
Well, that's a huge question. I think the first thing I would start off, be a client first. So when you go and you have maybe pimples or whatever, or something that you're insecure about, maybe, let's say, and you go to that expert, how do you feel? How do they treat you? Are they compassionate? Do they ask you questions? Like, do they know your name? you know? And so like think about like start there. And if like how did that interaction leave you feeling? Did you want to rebook and learn more? Did it make you go home and Google more about, oh, that was so interesting. I want to learn more. Or was it just like, oh, hey girl, yeah, ooh, here's my coffee. Okay, Starbucks, bye. And then like you're just left, you can go, and then you just Groupon it down the line. So it's about that interaction. How are you interacting with your clients that makes you different than everybody else there? We all have great products, we all have access to great stuff, we all have access to great machines. We all are exactly the same. We all have the same education essentially. What's going to make you different? And the only thing in the whole entire world that is going to make you different is you and your unique personality. So really tap into your identity, find out who you really are, like what's important to you, what's not. Get a piece of paper, you know what I mean? Fold it in half. One side, who am I? Who am I not? What do I like? What don't I like? What's important to me? What do I value? What don't I value? What kind of client do I want? What kind of client don't I want? This is huge and scary because when you say, what kind of client don't I want? You might be getting rid of 50% of your clientele. You're going to get rid of the 50% of the eye cream clientele. But I would say, I'm going to sell you the eye cream now for temporary, but I want you to, I'm going to teach you how to do lymph drainage on your eye, and you might want to get a colonic. All right. That's what I'm going to tell you is the truth. So I'll give you your short term, because we all want, it's a little tightness around the eyes. I get it. But before you leave, I'm going to show you how to do some little lymph drainage. I'm going to show you to do it at home. I have a class, a lymph class you can buy, or we could do, whatever. We could do it. You just come in. We'll do it all the time. Come in once a week for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That's all we need. Whatever you want to do to be authentic and find out what's important to you. And then once you get rid of those eye cream clients and the Groupon clients, then you have all that space to allow the people who want the series of and the packages, those people who want the real information, who are looking for a life partner. That's when it's going to really radically change your business, and you're going to get radical gratitude from that, from your business. My business was draining me. I was just like, I can't do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore, because I turned it into just transactions. And I forgot who I really was, because that wasn't who I was in the beginning. And in the beginning, man, you got raindrop therapy at the end of every facial. You got warm towels. You got the little, all the little extras, right? And then after, you get less, little less, little less, and like, I'm this, and who are you? You know what I mean? And it's like I say, think about when you first start, those clients can come a half hour late, and you're so still grateful that they came. And now you're making a video about them out there a half hour late, and how you just kicked them out, and now you post it on Instagram. She came late. I ain't taking that girl. And like, other people are seeing this, and they're like, oh, it takes me, I might be late, and she's going to kick me out and make a video about me. I'm like, I don't want to go to her, So how about, like, girl, I know you're 15 minutes late, and I know you came in with a steaming hot Starbucks, and the line was long at Starbucks before you got to me. If that happens, you can bring me one. It's okay. I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to take you, and we're still going to make something of this appointment. And I love you, and I'm so grateful for you. And you know what I mean? And so people get it. It's like, catching more flies with honey kind of thing. So I think I've always believed the secret is you. And you have to get clear on who you are and who you're not. It's dating. If you're married, you know why you married that person, what was different about them. My husband is nothing like anybody I've ever dated in my entire life. I couldn't get more opposite. He's from, literally, I'm Jersey girl, he is literally grew up in Louisiana with Duck Dynasty people. He's got the big beard, hunting and fishing. He was a Marine. You know what I mean? Like, he went to their same high school as them. Like, that's who he is. What am I doing with that? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing with each other? But we have the same, as different as we are, we have the same goals and beliefs, and we're super authentic. Like, you're never going to find him or I being anyone other than who we are. And so that's a very safe place to be, whether it's with your spouse, a friend, a relative, or a client, or your esthetician. Anyone who comes to me, it's like, and I've had clients say, I'm sending my friend to you. I've already told her about you. I've already told her you're really, really, like, straightforward. You really know, and like, there's no BS, but you're going to get the best facial, and she's definitely not going to, like, oversell you, because that's a thing people hate about estheticians. She's not going to oversell you. She's going to only give you what you need, and you're really going to see results. And so if that's how people introduce me, I don't think I could ask for anything more. Yeah, like, you're going to get the real deal. And that's what we should all want. We all should want to be, like I said, the only mask you ever need to be wearing is an anti-aging mask. That's it.
I love that.
Well, I think that's a beautiful place to wrap up the conversation. But, Lora, I just think that there is so much distraction out there on social media, in the media. I think these younger generations especially are having such a challenge in that very core foundational thing of just, who am I? What's important to me? What do I want? What do I not want? And it sounds so simple, but how many internet searches and social media searches are just people trying to find someone to follow so that they can try to piece together an identity from plucking it from different places when the answers truly are already inside, whether it is something that you innately know by, we talked a lot about trusting your gut, or connecting with your faith, connecting with God or nature or whatever something out there bigger than you that you are part of means to you, just bringing you back home, bringing you back to that center. I think that message is such an important reminder for everyone. And I think that COVID really did make a lot of people have those kind of face to face in the mirror conversations with themselves, because for a lot of people in this industry, it changed everything. Not
Oh
just this
yeah.
industry, but this industry really specifically was hit hard.
Mhm.
And so many people are still rebuilding and regrouping, but not going back to what they were doing before COVID, because they're different now. And they have had some shifts in their own lives of, well, what do I want moving forward? What's really important? And then for people like you who have had scary diagnoses that have forced their lives to change, what do I want to leave behind?
Yeah.
So, with that, one, I know it's a big question, but what is your legacy? What do you want to leave behind?
I think what people tell me, because I don't know, because I think that's only something that I feel like people can tell us. I can think what I want to leave to the world. I think a lot of people, what they've told me over the years is to be authentic. Like, don't be afraid to be yourself. Someone has to say what needs to be said or do what needs to be done. Um, Adventure, like take an adventure. Like, you know, that movie, Yes Man, with
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, like that's kind of me into a lot of degree. I'm like, sure, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Like, sure, everyone says do chemo and here's the port, but I'm like, I don't need you. You know what I mean? Like, just do something different. Try something that makes you scared. Like, what could really happen? So just do it. Don't have fear. Don't live in fear. Don't live in anxiety. Get out of that. That will crush you and destroy you. Just live, and just when have believe that you are taken care of, and it will be okay no matter what. Like, and we think about all the things in my life that have happened. I'm like, yeah, but I was okay. Yeah, but I was okay. Even, yeah, but I was okay. But even now, yeah, my husband, yeah, he can pay the mortgage on his own now. Like, yeah, but so just go do it. Go and do it, and don't be afraid. And everybody who knows me says, Laura, she'll always be the one to say it. She'll be the one to do it. She had no fear. She's I'm learning now how much I influence people by them returning the favor. People that 10 years ago I haven't talked to in 10 years, they heard about it, and like they're helping me, and like people from college, telling me their stories and like praying for me and this and that. And like, I wasn't even thinking about them. And like, well, just because of, they're like, you remember 10 years ago you did this? I'm like, no. They're like, that meant the most to me. You helped me so much. And like, all those things that we do, think about your life review at the end of your life. What really, if you really look at the end of our lives, my friend once told me, he's like, when I die, he's like, so many people are going to come to my funeral because I've done so many things for so many people. And he was bragging, but it made me feel like, oh, is it people going to come to mind? Like, what have I done anything for anyone? Like, really? And it's not a matter, and it's just a matter of being, the kind of person that I would want someone to be to me. And I guess if you do that enough times, long enough, it's cumulative, and it comes back to you. And if you do nothing to nobody for a long time, or if you do bad things to people, that's cumulative, and that will come back to you, and not in a good way. And so, just think about being present every single day, something you can do. I still go through, the drive through, and I'll pay for someone's, the next person. Of course, it's always like $30. And I'm like, who's just getting, does no one get like a $5 coffee? Like, I'm like, I'm getting tagged as like a joke. But really just, just be the person who's always going to live authentically, and be there for people and help them. And it does come back to you. Don't be a doormat. It's not about, don't be a doormat. Don't be taken advantage of, you know, because that's a whole other mental mind mess that we don't want to, have any part of. But we all know what feels good and what feels bad. And when that feels bad and ugly and creepy, get out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just hope people remember me as just fun and open, honest. Like I said, they can say whatever they want to me. They'll never call me a liar, ever, ever. They can say I was mean, maybe like I might have hurt their feelings. Yes, I'm sorry. I've hurt feelings along the way, but it was never out of being meanness, or it was never out of being dishonest or disloyal. Like those are just words will never cross paths with my name. So at least I
Absolutely.
can say that I'm proud of that reputation, because you do have your reputation.
Mhm.
The word gets around. There are people in the industry that everybody knows are not nice. They're not good. They're not loyal. They'll steal your clients. They will, just not, there's no reason. There's billions of people on the planet. Like there's enough for everyone. It truly is. People coming to this country with nothing, still today coming with almost nothing and making it.
Mhm.
Like, I just feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? But like they're taking massive radical action.
Yeah.
And
Great
that's
message.
really one of the things that, people said. Like I said, I am not the best esthetician. If nothing else, I'm not the skinniest, the prettiest, the smartest, the best. I'm not the best eyebrow shaper, no matter what InStyle says. I'm not the best esthetician in Englewood, no matter what the newspaper said. I'm not the best this, that, none of that. I'm just a hardworking, and I'm authentic, and I focus to the end result. And I just, I've done a lot of work on focusing, trying to focus to the end result, because focus is not my strength in a lot of ways. I'm all over the place. So I just keep going back to it, keep going back. And then, you get those goals, and then you just
Amazing.
have a lifetime of them.
Well, we are so grateful that we got to spend this hour with you today, and we just can't wish you the better than the best in everything that is on the journey in front of you. So I just want you to know you have our love and our prayers and our gratitude and all of the happy, healing, positive vibes and sparkles and all of that. We just
Oh, sparkles. I love sparkles.
love
Jersey girl.
sparkles.
The glitter, the
Yes.
rhinestones, all of
We
it.
love it. So we're just so grateful for you. Before you leave us, where can people find you online if they want more inspiration from you or if they want any of your classes or anything like that?
The website is The Beauty Buster. It's just thebeautybuster.com.
Mhm.
And that's where I'm on Facebook. And I think it's Beauty Buster on Instagram. I have classes for estheticians. I also do, virtual. I do a lot of virtual work with estheticians on just that thing, on helping them find what is unique about you that is going to set you apart from every other esthetician. And a lot of it is really kind of what you guys are doing, because you don't learn that in school. And it's about not only what you healing the healer, so then you can help them to uncover their own body and learn their own body, not just their skin or their hair or their brows or lashes or whatever. It's all connected, because even if you're doing lash extensions and that's all you do, you have to know so much about the health of the body in order to help someone with their lash extensions. I was doing lash extensions on these two women. They're the two of the top sellers in the world of Mary Kay. She's got
Mhm.
like 17 pink Cadillacs. She has one of a multi-million-dollar pink house. Okay. Down here.
Respect.
Yeah. I mean, she hustled, right? But like they're in their 70s, and they're talking about their lashes. And we were talking about why her lashes weren't growing. And I was talking about, oh, well, she had done something like, and I'm like, well, I think it's scar tissue, because she's done everything on the planet to make this grow. And I'm like, I think it's the scar tissue. And from curling the lashes, you've damaged that follicle.
Mhm.
And now that follicle has scar tissue and it can't grow out there, because it's just bizarre and weird how I've never seen anything like it. And then we started doing more, and again, she's like, it's scar tissue, and it's like part of this, health issues that she had. So had I not known that, she never would have figured it out, but it took her how many years? And she has access to the best of the best. She's a multimillionaire. But none of those estheticians could ever help her figure out scar tissue in the follicle.
Yeah.
So these are the things that will set you apart. And
Absolutely.
it's just a lot of studying, unfortunately, a lot of nights by myself. When I get married in my 50s.
Hey, we're the same. We're the same.
Yeah, I got married in my 50s. What were we doing all those Saturday nights researching?
Yep, 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 yep.
Well, thank you again. And to all of you listening, thank you for being with us. And if you liked what you heard or watched, please subscribe to our podcast, The Skin Wellness Pro Show, on Apple iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you come over to the blog at skinwellnesspro.com so that you can read the companion blog posts that we are going to publish with this episode, and find other resources that can support your journey in this industry in one place. Thank you for being here. We'll be back again soon with another episode, and have a great rest of your day.